This video is a resistance calculation video with a little bit of series, parallel, and then part C goes on to ask about current, so a little bit of Ohm's law. So for the start, for question 10b, it's asking you to calculate the total resistance for the circuits shown. So there is your circuit there. So we've got a top branch of 390 ohms, a bottom branch of 120 and 330 ohms, and it's also got a little voltmeter added in across the 390 ohms. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to calculate some of the resistance. Now when you have got a mixture of series, i.e. the two on the bottom branch, and parallel, top, bottom, we need to do the series first. Okay, so to complete the series calculation, what we're looking to do is look at, if I label these, might make it a little bit clearer. So we've got 1, 2, that could be 3. So we want to do series, and that is 1 and 2. Now from your data booklet, you will find that RT equals R1 plus R2. Pretty straightforward maths calculation. Okay, so that's 120 plus 330. So your RT for the series circuit, or the series part of it, is going to be 450 ohms. Okay, so that is the first part of the calculation. The second thing that we need to do is work out the parallel. Okay, so now what we've got, instead of having 1, 2 and 3 resistors, we have now combined 1 and 2. So actually what we've got is we have got a branch with 1 and a second branch with 1. So actually we've got the 390 ohms up here, which is 3, and then we've got the 1 and 2 combined, which is a combination of 450 ohms. So this one here is 450 ohms. Now, when we do the parallel part of the circuit, we've got two different equations that we can use. Now for me, I tend to stick to the equation that is 1 over RT equals 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. In the data booklet, you will see that there is another equation that you can use if you're comfortable, but for me this one makes it a little bit easier because people sometimes get confused if there are more than 2 resistors. If there's more than 2 resistors, we just add on 1 plus 1 over R3 plus 1 over R4, blah, 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 all the way to the end. But if we're using the simplified equation, you can only do that with 2 resistors, so it gets a little bit more complex. Anyway, back to the question. From there, what we do is we want to substitute in our values for our resistors. So we've now got 1 over RT equals 1 over R1. So we can say that R1 can be either of these ones as long as it's the two new resistors that we're using. So we can have 1 over 390 plus 1 over 450. Now when you pop that into your calculator, you will get, making sure that you keep these in brackets, okay, you will get something that looks a bit like a load of numbers, and it goes on for a while. Okay, the next thing that we need to do there, remember that we've still got 1 over, so 1 divided by RT. So to get RT in its own, we have to do 1 divided by the answer up here, which is 0.047, blah, 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 blah. Okay, just make sure you keep that in your calculator, and you should end up with something like 208.9 ohms. If we round it properly, you're going to be 209 ohms. Okay, now the places that you get the marks for this, you get a mark for working out the value of the series part of the circuit. You then get a mark for substituting in, and then you get a mark for your final answer. Now remember, if you're using the opposite equation, again, you get the mark for substituting and you get a mark for your final answer. You must make sure that you have units. If you don't have units, you don't get the marks. For part C of the question, it says calculate current through a 390 ohm resistor when the voltage V1 is 12 volts. Show working, all working, and final unit. So for this one, again, you can go back to your data booklet. The equation you're looking for is V equals IR. Okay, if I substitute in, so it tells me that the resistance is 390, the voltage is 12. So I've got 12 equals current multiplied by resistance, 390. Okay, from there, it's all about substituting. So you want to get I on its own. So to get I on its own, 390 needs to move to that side. So I equals 12 divided by 390. When we pop that into our calculator, again, you should get something like 0.031 amps. You can leave it like that, or you can simplify it down and give yourself 31 milliamps. To get the marks in this question, it's a 3-mark question. You get a mark for your substitution, you get a mark for rearranging, and you get a mark for your final answer. Either of the two is accepted.